Hi, welcome to Pure Soul Alchemy with Gabriella. I'm Gabriella Espinosa, Life Shift Catalyst and creator of Pure Soul Alchemy. I'll be taking us through a soul realignment process for the next 30 minutes. So be sure to find a nice, comfortable place where you can lay down, relax, and receive this session. Pure Soul Alchemy is a transmission of channel healing technologies which restructure your creative source grid. Transformative operations and procedures are enacted for you while you comfortably relax. Through my perception and vocalization of the inner energetic grid, we are open in ways which allow these technologies to come into our physical reality and enact change on our behalf. There will be quite a few moments of silence as I'm being with these processes. Just relax into the silence during these times and receive the healing energies. Don't focus too much on what is being said. Just relax and let the transmission come through and work on you. To learn more about upcoming Pure Soul Alchemy workshops, classes, and events, and about scheduling your own personal Pure Soul Alchemy session, go to www.puresoulalchemy.com. It's quite helpful to go back and listen again repeatedly to deepen the effects of the session and take the healing further. Today's show is a healing session on dating, going from blah to aha. Dating and liking someone can be a very nerve-wracking endeavor. Do I call? Do I wait for him or her to call me? Does she or he even like me? There's nothing more aggravating than having anticipation fears and jitters when trying to establish a heartfelt connection with someone. Nervousness and anxiety are quite natural, but they can totally get in the way of finding out if you even like each other enough to move forward. So let's disperse some of these pesky fears today. Here are just a few of the healing points that we'll cover in our session today. One is overinvestment in outcome. 2, recovering from the one mentality. 3, it's a term I called evacuated presence, and I'll go into a little more detail about these as we're clearing them. And number 4 is skipping over establishing a friendship. So now take some deep breaths and bring into your awareness and into your heart into your pelvic bowl region, your hips, thighs, ankles, knees, feet, soles of the feet. Your focus on any negative repeating habitual behaviors that take over when you are interested in someone romantically. Imagine these habitual responses and behaviors melting away. Imagine them being deeply and completely wiped away from your behavioral repertoire. Envision a more perfect set of behavioral and attitudinal choices taking their place. Let that take hold in your sight and into your heart as we go through our session and anchor the greater possibility into your relationship energy grid. We're going to begin by connecting in with all of our integral physical and non-physical intelligence, aligning completely with our own core essence. Aligning with the fundamental and essential aspects of ourselves, aligning with the earth, the sun, the moon, aligning with our own Mother, Father, God self, with our own inherent creator self, and our right placement in the universe. The one pure healing source within us is our own deepest aspect. We agree to serve as our own healing agent and to serve from and as our own ultimate inner counsel, the all that I am. So we're going to begin with a little bit of emotion code. This is a different modality created by Dr. Nelson Bradley, which I just love this modality. And the first trapped emotion that we're going to release, we're going to utilize Gabriella's governing meridian as a proxy for everyone's governing meridian. And the first trapped emotion we'll release is shock. We're releasing it for each of our respective ages that got set in. We're utilizing magnet therapy on the governing meridian. You can visualize this magnet being run over your governing meridian, just about where your brow line is in the center and up over your head to the crown. And we're releasing the trapped emotion of shock. And that's as much emotion code as we're doing at this time. And what we're going to do is we're going to set into motion. And this is yet another healing modality. This is Air Fawcett's pendulum clearing. And we're going to do some past life clearing throughout the course of our session today. And we're just going to keep this going. So clearing pertinent and impactful, and I also want to say impeding past life situations, events, and traumas. Just going to sit with that for a little bit. Both of those are still very active. And just a little information, I utilize mine as a proxy for all of our healing, and so I might do a bit of deep breathing in order to move the energy for us all. All right, so we're going to start working on those healing points I mentioned. This one is called Unrequited presence. Just going to do some gentle yet thorough cleansing of this tendency. This is the phenomenon where we may feel so inadequate that we literally leave our bodies when interacting with an attractive and highly compatible love potential. And what happens is that this phenomenon renders us unavailable, and consequently we are not there for them to connect with. So we never quite find out if it could have worked out. So that's what we're doing some cleaning work on, is this built-in, it's almost like a built-in default fight or flight, and in this case it's flight. Right, so while that is clearing, we're going to go ahead and do some deeper cleansing of that piece of the perception, the misperception of inadequacy within ourselves. And sometimes we'll go so far as to project that outward, and then we lose sight our ability to see the person who's in front of us, as well as ourselves. Okay, we're going to just spend a bit of time with this one because it's very big. Okay, great. So we're going to also bring in an orosoma bottle. We're going to channel in an orosoma bottle. The supportive frequencies of bottle number 87. And this one is pale coral over pale coral. And this one is called the Wisdom of Love. And this is very similar in a way to the shock bottle, the etheric rescue bottle, which helps with shock. This one also helps with shock, but this one has to do with shock in the area of love, partnership, relationship, interconnectedness, and as well as interconnectedness in society, in our communities. It's basically a healing frequency for the shock of unrequited love, and perhaps even the misperception of unrequited love. Displacement of the misperception of unrequited love. Panic in association with unrequited love. I'm going to read a little bit about this bottle that we're channeling in as we're bringing it into each of our systems. I say goodbye and let go of the past. I am grateful to the present. I feel the warmth carrying within and around. To be able to see oneself beyond the reflection of self, an awareness that we can see ourselves in others, in the mirror of what is in front of us, and to go beyond this, to see the essence that lies within. A love of letting go in the context of unrequited love. Great, so we're discharging heavily right now. Quite heavily, I must say. It was very good. A lot of panic. And I'm feeling it very intensely. But that's a good thing because we're releasing it. Great, so while this is really heavily releasing, we're bringing in our ability of metanoia. This is a term that I learned in orosoma training. And I forgot what it meant, so I'm going to go ahead and look that up. A transformative change of heart, especially a spiritual conversion, a changing of one's mind, a complete changing of one's mind. That's great. So that's what's going on for us right now. And interesting, what I just heard is that there is some spontaneous combustion going on in the heart, and that's a good thing. Combustion sounds like such a mechanical and scary word, but it's actually a good thing. And it's our alchemically shifting. Right. So that healing is going to continue, and I'll remind you of this later, but I just want to remind you now to keep listening to this session repeatedly, because in particular, this piece will keep getting worked on and transmuted to this evacuated presence that we're deeply, deeply transforming right now. Right, so we're going to do some work on the next concept, recovering from the one mentality. This is where this is a buying into the notion that there's only one person out there for us. And this truly interferes with really getting to know someone. It puts a tremendous amount of pressure on us to seek and find one person who is destined, and I'm doing my little quotation fingers as I'm talking, who is destined to make us happy, which also makes us pass over some very, very good candidates for relationship. Searching for the one also interferes with the natural progression of getting to know each other. It creates a barrier to really seeing the person before us by focusing our intent on trying to see how we can make this person fit into our ideas of the perfect mate, which does not exist. Getting to know one another and seeing if there is true compatibility is essential. Again, this is cultural and even genetic programming, this the one mentality. So we're recovering, repairing this mentality that diverts our focus away from true connection and the true flow of love, the intelligence of the true flow of love. Balancing with the interconnectedness of all life. And let's go ahead and do some clearing of social distortions and their interferences. And just an FYI, we're on a side note, we're working on bringing in the total investment of the soul back into our relationship template. Repairing fractured frequencies. Reconstructing those. And aligning with total investment of the soul in our relationship template. Right, so there's another piece about this the one mentality that we're clearing. And this is a sense of desperation and based on a misperception of scarcity. Okay, so we have all of these pieces still cooking. And the next piece we're going to put online for transformation is the phenomenon of skipping over establishing a friendship. This is a very important part of relationship, is friendship. Most relationships are created from an initial attraction, and that's a good thing, but you've heard the phrase, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. Highly charged sexual attraction can blight our hearts from establishing a more grounded and substantial heart bonding. Again, consciousness and awareness that the attraction is very strong is key to shining the light on where and when we are being propelled by the attraction rather than a true connection. Right, so working on enhancing our ability to distinguish, discern, and really driving home into our cellular intelligence, our DNA intelligence, the quintessential importance of establishing a friendship, establishing a love bond based on mutual respect, compatibility based in reality, and practical application of a heart and love bonding. And also establishing a balance between all the different levels of bonding, the passionate attraction, the heart bonding, the friendship, and having a warm, lovely, flowing interplay, balanced interplay of all of those. Right, so for quite a few of us, that is a hard, it's almost like a very fixed, I should say a long-established pattern of skipping over establishing a friendship in terms of dating or courtship. So we're just going to spend some time with deconstructing, dismantling this pattern. So just a little bit, a reminder, sometimes we go into some quiet time as I'm being very, very much with the processes that are going on at the time. Like right now, we're really breaking down some of these long-term entrenched patterns. And for some of us, this one is a very long-term entrenched. All right, that's starting to lighten up a bit. That's good. And just putting online that this is going to continue for the next 3 hours beyond your listening to the show. All right, so that's going to keep going and deconstructing. And our next healing point is overinvestment in outcome. Most of us get caught up by our ideas, concepts, and expectations of what will be once we begin dating someone. And this is the phase where our fantasies and dreams collide with the reality of the person before us. It is an important part of personal growth, whereby we allow our distortions and our projections to disassemble. There's typically quite a bit of anxiety to try to control and manage the relating so that it fits into the small, narrow box. The important way to be with this is to recognize that is what is happening for us. Consciousness and awareness greatly relax its hold on us, and it puts us back in the driver's seat. So just bring our awareness of what's going on, name it, acknowledge it, and then it loses this overinvestment in outcome, and our fantasy projections, they lose their grip on our relationship flow. And then we're free to cultivate a beautiful either friendship or more. And one piece that's coming up is the word dating makes it a little bit more real. And some of us will use the terms hanging out or having an appointment as a coping mechanism so that we don't have to deal so much with the fears that are coming up for us. And I'm raising my hand. I've done that. So we're clearing on that piece as well, naming it for what it is and really being there and showing up and being vulnerable. Right? So we're going to continue. All of these clearings that we've done today are going to continue for the next 3 hours or so. And I do encourage you to listen again repeatedly. So we're going to close our session at this time. Thank you so much for joining us for Pure Soul Alchemy with Gabriella. To learn more about upcoming Pure Soul Alchemy events and scheduling your own one-on-one session, go to www.puresoulalchemy.com. This is Gabriella Espinosa. Have a wonderful day.